Welcome back to another installment of the MLE Network brought to you by APM Music. I am your host, Fresh McFarland, and I am joined by my co-caster and former teammate, Ford Flump. I don't know what they wrote under your name tag. I didn't look before the stream started.
They got me down as Flump
Awesome.
for the casting. Man, we're going up to the ML. Last series was an absolute blast to cast. So now we're going to Outlaw and Wizards.
Yeah, it is the only doubles match of the weekend, and we love to see it. Just a quick look at the stack here, Flump. We noticed that one of the players, the Wizards, they're putting their best foot forward. Zach V, who's, very popular among the community, if I do say so myself. Very, very, very popular. But
Zach
also
V.
on the other side, you got the Outlaws putting their best feet forward. You got Bloodat and Boxuel, who have changed their names ever so conveniently for us casters to the Box is back and the Blah is back.
And that is a 100% shout out to, I can't remember if he's their FM, GM, or AGM, but the Evil is back for the Outlaws. So looking at last week too, the Wizards did not play Zach V last week, so they're coming in with a different lineup. Dom coming back from last week, Zach V stepping in this week, and the Outlaws coming back with the same exact lineup of Bloodat and Boxuel.
You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in the case of the Wizards, looking at the stat line, Zach leads, and I quote, in assists, saves, shot percentage, MVPR, and win percentage. I mean, I hope this man's got good health insurance because his back is probably hurting.
Is demos on your list? Is he leading in demos too? What's he not leading in? Maybe we should have knocked it down.
He's not leading in goals, but he's not beat by much. I'm telling you right now.
And that's for the league or for his team?
Yep, for his team.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, if he's doing all that in the league, we are in for a show regardless. Last week, the Wizards, to recap, 3-2 against the Spectre in a Game 5 showdown, but the Outlaws taking down, unfortunately, the team that I'm on, the Shadow, 3-1 in a pretty overall dominant fashion.
Oh, yeah. It's to be expected. The Wizards do not play. They do play. They're 31-19, but they don't horse around. They come to win. They've only got 4 people on their roster right now. They've only got 4, and 2 of them are on the field tonight. As opposed to the Outlaws. The Outlaws got, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. They've got depth on the bench.
Man, that is unbelievable that you can, as the Wizards, juggle that small player base on your team to be able to get your series right, get your counts right. I'm sure at some point they had a player that probably ranked out to PL or ranked down to CL, but still to make it through a season with a roster that small is a feat in itself. Like you said, they got 2 on the field, and one of them didn't play last week, so they've played 3 players out of their 4 in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, it's just absolutely wild. But like I said before, I said a minute ago, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. TRS Rival, it looks like they've only played 1 series too, with a record of 3-2. It's a very, very new player. So as far as long-standing players, they've only got 3.
And man, oh man, let's drop it down to the field. The players loading in. We're going to ML, and this game is underway, Fresh.
It is finally here. Boxuel's going to go ahead and take a hit off the ceiling, goes down, gets the reset, looking down to the corner for a double. Zach is just a little bit awkward, decks it out to the top of the box. Blah takes this, tries to get it back towards the middle of the field. It's rolling towards the post, but Zach's going to secure that safely away. He's got it here, trying to beat the boxes back onto the wall. Dom's going to take this control and hit it down to the corner. And, game 1, a huge demo there, starting off early with a physical play.
Ball towards the net, and Zach V's going to take it up and high. Opts to let it drop. Dom bails him out. Takes the ball downfield. Zach with good positioning on the back line here. Let's take it to the back. Going to clear it downfield. Here we go. Box up. Zach V there to receive. Takes it to the sidewall. Unbelievable control by Zach V. He's going to get another touch here. Big dunk. We're going high with box. Dom out of the corner.
Ooh, another big demo in the backfield from Zach. That's, I believe, the second one there. The teams are already getting physical. We're only about a minute into the match, and the teams are already employing those demos in tactical fashion. A little bit of a double commit there might cost them dearly if Baktul can get back to this, but he can't get it on net. Select to leave it there. Goes for the demo on Zach again. The physical play is heavy with this team. There goes another attempt.
A risky play here by Zach V. Didn't have enough boost to get off the back wall, but the shot is off. Dom going to take the boost out of the corner. Zach still behind it. Dom going to bail him out. Here we go, back the other way into the Outlaws half. Dom with a big dunk on the back wall. Zach V sitting around midfield, waiting to receive the ball. Big 50 in midfield, goes side to side. And here comes Dom again. Great positioning this game so far by Dom. We're a minute and a half in. Dom is he's just very, very solid so far, Fresh.
He's been absolutely, Zach getting his opening started with the scoring. Puts one in for the Wizards with 3 minutes left in regulation, 2 minutes into the game. Just barely out of reach of Blah, and I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but just barely missed it.
It looked like it was just a soft chip to the back wall here, and I mean, sometimes that's all it takes to bait two players out. He gets the chip, acts like he's going to rotate out. Blah, or whoever it was, I'm sorry, because their names are so similar, they're not doing us any favors. Just jumps towards the net. He's going to have another shot at net. And we'll go back to this other goal real quick. It was just a chip to get it to the back wall and try to get it center. He looks like he fakes the rotation back, and then he just chips the ball towards the net. And it's just like you said, out of reach. And here he goes again, off the sidewall, out to Dom, and Dom buries it.
Yeah, absolutely huge overcommit there from the Outlaws. You see one way past near post and one on the challenge. And I know this ain't threes, but when you have that, when you don't have the luxury at that third man, you can't be up that far on defense as the second man.
Absolutely not. And Blah there, it looked like the original shot or pass, whatever we're gonna call it, by Zach V. It was just enough misdirection to say, it was a big flick. Just enough to say, hey, I'm challenging your net. I'm gonna put it at the post, whether it's gonna go post across, post out. It was just enough to make Blah have to dive for it. As Zach up high. Oh my goodness, wow. Zach V! Holy smokes!
I need to take a shower, Flump. Wow.
That was disgusting, Zach V.
Man, somebody call waste management because it is trash day.
Woo-hoo. I mean, the control by Zach V there to get that ball and get that touch soft enough to the back wall to be able to read it and get another one and have the boost control. I mean, I guess the bubbles coming out for his booster helping him float a little bit because that man was flying forever.
Yeah, the boost management at the very least on that was amazing. But we're well past it now. Wizards are back on the defense, and, well, not for very long because the Outlaws fail to connect on that. Boxuel trying to get back desperately to get back to that ball. Low on boost, gets a wave dash to the corner, looking to beat Dom on the 50. Gets Dom out of the way, but Zach read that last week, is already up for it. Blah here has it into the corner, gets a touch out to the mid, tries to beat Zach V, barely loses a 50. Ball's out coming down. Blah is looking for a demo, can't quite get it, gets the boost stolen from him. He's rushing back with nothing left. He ain't got pads to get it, but the Wizards are going to let him have possession of it, but with only 20 boost.
Here we go. Zach V going to challenge in midfield. Gets the 50 to the sidewall, and Dom's here to pick it up for him. Box with a great challenge. Going to opt to control. Can't quite get the pressure on it that he needs. Doesn't have the boost to do it. Blah retreating. Dom up. Has control of the ball. Opts for the ground pinch, but stuffed by Blah. Here comes Zach getting it back to midfield. Ball high on the back wall. Two Outlaws there. Cleared out. Double commit by the Outlaws, but they're still safe. Ball's across the net. Zach V there to read it. It's up, it's over, it's in!
Oh my goodness, the Wizards coming out extremely strong, shutting down the Outlaws, and just an unfortunate touch there. Not the greatest display of patience, if I do say so myself. Knowing that Zach V is there waiting for you to touch it, probably wouldn't be a great idea to touch it, but it was on net. You didn't have much other choice, and I'm always plat 3, so what am I going to know?
And the Outlaws strike back with 47 left on the clock. You say it in every ranked game with the hope that it's true, but there is plenty of time left on this clock. The Outlaws sending it all, trying to make something happen.
Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No. However, the Outlaws have every chance to get it back, but do they have what in them, the individual skill to get it? Not if they keep doing stuff like that. Losing possession here to the Wizards once again. Zach has it up on top of the box. Both Blah and Boxuel committed on that. Just an unfortunate circumstance. Trying desperately to regain possession, playing very close together in the same corner of the field. As Zach clearly dunks that away. Dom regains possession here in the corner, sends it back down. But in the Outlaws on the back foot. Gets a 50 slow, can't get it out. Oh, Boxuel can though. And manages to get that dire save to keep that lead at 3. Oh, an unfortunate miss there.
10 seconds left on the clock here. If you're the Outlaws, you go, okay, GG, let's regain. We got the last goal of this game. And as I say that, the caster curse comes true. Dom high flying off the sidewall and shuts me right up. Flip reset of all things, too.
Yeah, the bounce shot, flip reset. It's pretty, I'll tell you that. But the Wizards, they're making light work of the Outlaws. They showed up with the deputy badge in hand. They are not giving them an inch.
Absolutely. I think as the Outlaws here, like I was saying earlier, you just got to look at it and go, okay, we've seen them play a game. We got to go next. We got to regain here going into game 2. I mean, but an absolute showing by the Wizards here.
To me, the Outlaws, I don't think they're any less skilled than the Wizards. I genuinely just think that they, to me, look nervous. They are missing basic touches. They're failing control. They're kind of rushing a little bit. It almost makes me wonder if, this is just playoff nerves. This is a really big game for them. How is their mentality doing behind the scenes? It's a huge thing that you have to focus on, especially with games with this much weight on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, it's round 2 of the playoffs. So you have a round under your belt already of being in that situation where it's do or die. And again, we talked about it in Series 1. It's tonight someone's season ends. And the Wizards are showing up like saying that this is not the night that their series ends, or their season ends. But like you say, Outlaws are absolutely skilled enough to do this. They just need to regather a little bit. We saw a lot of double commits out of the Outlaws in that game. I think if they tighten that up, they can get the clear out they need. They just got to keep the ball away and keep the ball moving down the field fast.
And for the Outlaws, it's spacing. This isn't threes. You don't have the luxury of that third man when 2 of you get tied up together. You have to spread out and cover the field to cover where that third man isn't anymore. So now with the Outlaws, and noticing between the missed touches and all that, they're playing very, very close together, which for some teams it works. But for the Outlaws right now, it's not, and they got to change that.
No, you got Zach V, who's a major ones player. I've talked to him about it a lot. He loves his ones. He's going to be able to control the ball. He's going to be able to 1v1 you. He wants the space, right? And he can beat you 2v1. If he gets control of that ball, he can work magic. So you got to get up quick. You got to just throw a car at him. You got to have your second man stay kind of far away. And you got to work away from him. You need to keep the ball away from Zach V.
Oh, an excellent display of patience there, and the Outlaws can't get there. And Zach V opens up the scoring in game 2 with a slow roller right down the middle.
Man, I talked about you need to get the ball away from them. If there's one thing a ones player can do, it's get the ball on net. They're good at it. They know how to do it. They've been in that situation thousands of times. And if he's in front of the net, he's going to do it. So an unfortunate miscue by the Outlaws there, but it's 4 minutes on the clock, 4:10 on the clock, plenty of time to get this one back.
Nah, it kind of reminds me almost of like a proximity meter. Every time Zach V gets inside the 18, the Outlaws, you can almost visibly see them panic. And it's concerning. A good save there by Blah, though, as he gets it to the corner. Dom beats him on the 50, out top of the box. Zach is there. Boxuel makes that the saver. I believe that was the Boxuel.
It was, in fact. Here we go. The Outlaws with a breakout play here. Can't get the ball on net. Dom goes for boost over ball, but Zach's there to gather it up. Box with a demo on the back line. Ball's not quite in the net. Zach V, overcommitting there and going a little bit too high, expecting a bounce or a challenge. Ball high off the back wall. Box there. Gets the chip. Dom playing it slow. Got their corner boost. Let's see what happens. Outlaws tight together, but it's working out for him. 7 boosts for Blah. Can't quite make a play. Can he gather it? He can. Can he turn it? He can. Dom there with a great save.
You hate to see it, just the unable to control. Another thing that you're going to see a lot here is the Outlaws running out of boost. Their boost pathing is not bad, but the Wizards are just faster. They're just rotating faster. They're grabbing more pads, and they're always at a higher speed because the Outlaws, they have to stop and actually go find boost now, and it's putting a lot of pressure on them. I'm not sure what that was, but that was unfortunate.
Big mind games by Zach V. We talk about a ones player. You know what I mean? He can play the mind games, and he absolutely will. Dom's gonna get free control over this ball. Opts to fake it and go for the 50. 2 Outlaw players up. 1 over. Oh, he just crossbarred down. Blah's up. Can't quite get above the ball. And here we go the other way. Zach V with control. No boost. He's gonna steal it and get out. Dom there. 50 across. Blah's gonna get control of the ball here. Air dribble off the sidewall. Goes for the flip. Gets it over 1, but Zach V there. Here comes Box. Big 50. Good early challenge here by Box. Going back the other way to the back wall. He's up. Can't quite get it. But man, Fresh, so far, 2 minutes into this game, we're looking at a completely different game than we did game 1.
The Outlaws are starting to settle in. They've got their game face on. They're starting to figure it out. The nerves are starting to shake off like rust off the bottom of a car. But you know what? The underlying problems are still there. They're starting to find boosts, though, and they're starting to get more consistent touches, and they're finding ways to create offensive pressure. But they haven't found the back of the net yet this series. It's only game 2, but they've got 1:24 to tie the game. Let's see if they can do it.
I like that play there we saw coming out of the Outlaws. Not opting for a bump, not opting for a demo, but doing one of the most annoying things you can in Rocket League, which is just park yourself underneath somebody's car. And that car happened to be Zach V.
I mean, I would argue that the most annoying thing that you can do in Rocket League is equip the pigeon topper, and I'm looking at you, DFAT. But we get to see him play next series, and I'll give him all the fun for that.
Dom is just going to send one downfield. I say it a lot for a lot of matches, but sometimes the only thing you need to do is get the ball inside of that rectangle and just throw it down the field.
And you know what? It's, again, the spacing from the Outlaws. You're up too far and slow to rotate back. You're not able to find boost, and the Wizards are just beating you to literally everything. So they've got to find a way. They've had some good offensive pressure, but they have yet to find the back of the net.
Big play here for the Wizards. They're going to have a chance, but Blah going to get a little bit too high, expecting a 50 here. Box opting to take it low here for a change, and Dom's going to clear it out to the sidewall. Ball back to midfield. A little bit of misdirection by the Wizards here, the little team bump, and Box is going to have a free attempt at this ball. Gathers the mid boost up, gets the flip, gets one over, and he gets it in!
Nice!
I was waiting to call for Zach V to make this save, and I don't quite know where he went.
That's beautiful. He's just a little slow. It looks like a misflip the banner for the name was in the way when the replay played, but it looked just like a misflip. And you know what? Credits to the Outlaws. That was a beautiful shot, and that's not only just, a huge thing for shortening that lead back down with 20 seconds left. That is a momentum booster. That is the first step. You are in first gear. Shifting now. You gotta increase your momentum. He gets it over 2.
Over 2.
It's off the post. He can't get it. 6 seconds left. The ball is off the corner. Boxual has full boost to keep this up, but he's got to find something to do with it before it hits the ground. And a double commit from the Outlaws might bend the death of them, because here comes Dom to bang it down to Zach. Zach's going to try and put this off the backboard. Nobody's home. Outlaws keeping it up. It's in the corner. Zach trying to put it out to the mid. Box is going to let it drop down, and the Wizards take game 2.
Man, a very, very risky play here by the Wizards at the end of the game. They're going to take the game 2-1. They locked up game 2. But for Dom to be able to get up to that ball with 0 seconds on the clock and not just spike it to the ground, it's one thing to say respect rule 0, rule 1, whatever you prefer to call it, and keep that ball up at 0 seconds. But man, if it's me, I'm throwing the rules away. This is playoff Rocket League for MLE. I'm throwing that ball. I'm spiking it to the ground every time, Fresh.
Well, I think the thing is, in the Wizards' case, they've won 2 games. They're on series point, right? Because it's only a best of 5. They're comfortable. They've got insurance. They can drop a game and not be really that bad. And plus, the Outlaws, for all things considered, they haven't really, with the exception of the one flip reset, have not shown any real threat to offensive pressure. Right? That was the best chance that they got, and they scored, but that was also the best chance that they had.
And as we load into Sovereign Heights here, I think we're going to take a second. I believe the Outlaws are going to bring in a sub here in Game 3. Not quite sure. Players aren't joining, so I think that's the plan here.
Yeah, well, they did ask for a sub, and let me tell you, the Outlaws have depth on that roster. Bakshul and Bladat, 17 and 17.5. You got your two highest salaries that you can possibly be in Master League. And they've got 6 other players other than that they can't. They've got 16s and 15.5, so that's all they got left. So I'm probably going to bet, if I have as a betting man, but we all know how my predictions go. I'm going to bet that End of You shows up, or our boy, the Luke is back. Why did you all do this to me? Luke, our broadcaster.
It's big respect to a leadership role in their team. The Evil is back, and that's a great thing you want to see out of a team. It's a community team. The Outlaws, I'll tell you what, Fresh, going back to last season, these 2 players that are on the field are 2 of the players that knocked me out of the CL playoffs last season. And to say that they're 17 or 17.5 and a 16, whatever their salaries are, they've eclipsed it. So to be where they are now is unbelievable, and I mean, sometimes that's the spark you need, is just to reopen it. And here we go, Luke coming into the game, showing up as the sub, and gets the first big save of the game.
Yeah, Box here loses it in the corner. Dom is going to play slow for a 50 with Luke and take it to the corner. It's out front of net. Luke is already being a defensive prowess. Look at the difference there. The speed that he has on defense already coming out early in game number 3. The Outlaws are down 2 games, so they needed that kind of pressure to come out from a teammate. Wow,
there he is again.
Absolutely display of power.
So maybe we're looking at here is the Wizards were bringing in a way more defensive-minded player, and I can tell you that Luke does have the offensive prowess, but again, he is a more defensive-minded player. The Outlaws are looking for something to shore the back line up. They got to stop this Wizard scoring, and so far it's working. Big demo, Box there to gather it up. Zach V to the corner, out to Dom, not going to dive. Box going to have a free chance of this ball, but Dom's there to shut it down. Luke up to the corner. Great soft touch, but Zach V's there to gather it up. Box going to get the touch. Sidewall and out. Dom there to gobble it up, and here comes Luke off the corner. Big dump. Excuse me, Fresh. Go ahead. Oh, my goodness. As I'm stuttering over my words, Zach V sure doesn't stutter over the shot. And an absolute banger onto net.
66 miles an hour straight to the corner. Bakshul can't quite get to that. When the Outlaws made this sub, you're right. They brought in a defensive-minded player. They brought in somebody who can kind of shut down, or at the very least, slow down Zach V. You know what? I'm stun casting. Y'all are mean.
Absolutely, and here we go. Zach again, man. He's just there. He's just there. So here we go again. The Wizards up 2. A big face-off. Big leave it in middle for Zach here. Here goes Luke off the ceiling. No boost to work with, but he's got the flip. Leaves it. Dom with a big save. To the corner now. Flicks it over 1. We're going the other way. Box passing it to Luke. Luke sends it back towards the net. It's on. Ooh. Zach V there to just send it away. We're playing a little bit of ping pong here, Fresh.
Yeah, the Outlaws, they came out really strong, but it took all about 45 seconds for the Wizards to adapt to this change of pace. And Zach putting 2 quick ones on net. The Outlaws, they got the whole game left, but they had about 7 seconds in the offensive part of the field. And you see, as soon as they get in, it comes right back. And every time it comes back, it is a threat to society.
Absolutely. Luke going for some bumps here. Gets a couple on Zach V to just throw him off enough. Box sends it downfield. Gets the 50. Ball's up. Luke taking his time. Plays it back around him. Good play here. Zach V off the back wall. Going back the other way towards the Outlaws half. But Box says no thank you. Ball in front of the net. Luke just can't quite get a hold of it. Sends it wide. Here goes Zach V. Can't get a hold of it. Dom up and away. Fresh. I mean, the Outlaws this second half of the game are changing the pace up. They're getting more shots, but they're down 2.
Yeah, it is a ticking time bomb. Every second that falls off that clock is a second closer to elimination and a second closer to a conference final for the Wizards. And ooh, a big bump there almost cost them dearly. Zach elects to steal the boost and leave Luke on pressure with nothing to show for his name. Elects to go back to the near corner. Boxual can't beat that, and Zach's up. He's got lots of boost to work with. Luke's got the ball though, and the Outlaws rushing back, try to get a double tap off the backboard, but he can't get it out in front of net. Dom misses it. Boxual loses the Luke loses the 50. Y'all changing your names is a great community move. We love it, but man, you guys are hard to cast.
Absolutely, they only left us a couple letters to work with in the middle of the name. Here we go. Zach V's going to opt for control here. Gets a chip over 1. Luke in a bad position, and he's in the right spot. Excuse my wording there. He's in the right spot. He's there to make the save, but it is just a unbelievably tough spot to be in there, especially when you got Zach V staring you down from behind that ball.
There is nothing that Luke could have done there except jump early, but we all know if Luke had jumped early, Zach would have waited. There's just not a whole lot that the Outlaws can do. They're just struggling. Zach is just an absolute beast, and like I said at the beginning of the series, Zach, I hope you got good insurance that covers chiropractors, because your back must be really hurting.
Absolutely. We're talking about Zach leading in saves, shots, everything, and he's just going to get another shot, another goal. We have there we go. Sorry, a little misdirection on my scoreboard there, but Zach V is going into this series clinching game with 4 goals. I mean, the Outlaws, you look at the scoreboard fresh, they got 7 saves on the scoreboard. So they are doing, everything they can, but these Wizards just keep coming, and they don't stop coming.
Yeah, there are one of 2 outcomes when the Wizards shoot. Either Zach scores or the Outlaws save it. They've got the Outlaws have 4 shots, the Wizards have 4 saves. The Outlaws have 7 saves, and they have a total of 13 shots, or 12 shots, correction. It's just absolutely mind-blowing that the accuracy of the Wizards as far as their shooting percentage is nuts.
And I mean, we've talked about Zach a lot this series. He's just the driving force behind this Wizards team. But to me, Dom is playing my favorite kind of game, which is just solid. He's there. He's where he needs to be. He's getting the ball in the corner. He's stopping you from doing whatever you want to do. And Zach V can't quite get the extra goal for stat padding at the end of the game. So, man, oh, man, Fresh, give me a second here to talk about the Outlaws. I got a DM in the middle of the game from Evil. So the reason that the Outlaws were trying to confuse us is he unfortunately lost a family member. I do have permission to say this. So
okay.
It wasn't to confuse us. It was, like you said, to honor the great community of the Outlaws team. So big props to them. They unfortunately can't take this series. But man, oh man, what a season for the Outlaws, and the Wizards move on. They're going to the conference finals.
Yeah, the Wizards move on to the conference finals with Zach at the lead and Dom in tow. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And props. I know we talked a lot about Zach, but he's had his day. Dom is here, right? Dom is able to keep up with Zach. He's able to. The rotations are funny because sometimes when you get a player that's like really high above you and you're down there and you're just kind of there along for the ride, it's kind of hard to play with that player. So, you know, props to Dom for being able to contribute in this and actually be a meaningful member of this team with a heavy hitter as heavy as Zach is.
Absolutely, man. I mean, like I said at the end of that game, Dom plays my favorite kind of game, solid, secure there. And I mean, with that being said, he had that flip reset in game 2, I believe it was. So he can do it all. He'll just kind of, he let Zach shine. He lets Zach do his thing. He'll take the back seat. And then when it's his time, you know what I mean, his opportunities in the game, he's gonna make it work.
He definitely is. Well, don't go anywhere. Stick around. We have another match coming up for you after this. It is again Master League, but this time it is the best game mode Rocket League ever created. Rumble. I'm kidding. It's threes. It is the Bears at the Comets. We will be right back.